Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. And today on this quantum conversation, we are standing in love, we are standing in unity, and we are creating new earth. My guest today channels the non-physical beings, the council, who is here to share their insight on the current conditions. This is a time when those listening to the show, you know deep within your heart that this is a time to step into your power, be the vision, and be the leaders. We are bringing in new earth, and this is incredible to be here with not only the energetic situation that we are witnessing as a shockwave has gone through our community, but also as love, as here, as who and what we are meant to do here on this planet. Let's welcome Sara Landon, who channels the council. Sara, thank you and welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with you and with your incredible community of leaders and way showers, and coming together at this time on this very important topic is just such an incredible opportunity. So thank you for the opportunity to be here with all of you.
Well, thank you. We're going to hear some comforting words from the council. The council talks about us stepping into our power and being free, understanding true freedom. And we, at this moment in time, can really understand that on a whole new level. We're going to talk with the council about their message for us in this time, as well as ways that we can go out into the world standing in our purpose, standing in our truth, standing in love and unity, while calming this huge angst that we're witnessing in our communities. So beautiful words coming up in just a moment. I want to first take our listeners into your personal story, because this was centered around 9/11. In that time period, actually almost 15 years ago tomorrow, you began communicating with a loved one on the other side of the veil. And also at the same time, you went through a dark night of the soul. Really, you were really in the thick of it. And I'm going to let you share that story because, wow, it is where you had to let everything go as you were awakening in your power. So please share that story with us.
Yes, well, it was a very interesting time in my life. In November of 2001, my brother was killed instantly in a car accident, and it was really a huge wake-up call and a very transformational moment in my life. I, at the time, was climbing the corporate ladder and trying to, live a life that others would define as successful. I had started my career and was working very hard and making a lot of money and climbing the corporate ladder and trying to do what I thought was expected of me in the world. And my brother's my brother's death was a huge wake-up call of just realizing in one moment how everything can change and really questioning what was important and what I wanted my life to be about. So when I walked into his viewing of his funeral, it was the very first experience I had with someone dying in my life, and the first person I had actually seen the body after someone had left it, and it happened to be my brother, which was a very emotional experience. But as I walked up to his body, I just had this absolute knowing that he was not in there, and I sat down, and within a couple of moments of sitting in the room during the viewing, I heard him over my left shoulder, as if he was sitting next to me, say to me, I'm not in there, but I am still here. And so I asked him, where are you? And he said, I'm here. I'm just as here as I've ever been. but I'm just not in that body anymore. And it was the most loving, comforting sensation. It was a very high energy experience, and I could hear him so audibly talking to me, and I could ask him questions, and he would answer. And this really started a journey with him that lasted for many years of being able to communicate and ask questions of the other side, with my brother really being the forward-facing being I was experiencing in the most loving way and in the most loving connection, and being able to ask the big questions about the other side, because I had been raised very Christian, and I had also been raised with the influence of a very spiritual, beloved aunt of mine who at the time of my childhood was studying reincarnation and past lives and working with ascended masters. And so I had a lot of confusion in my life about what was the truth, and, wanting to be loved and wanting to be accepted, but realizing what others' truths were not necessarily mine, and not knowing how to follow that path, and how to bring together not only being, wealthy from a financial perspective, but really from a spiritual perspective, and having abundance in all areas of our life, and really understanding how to do that. And so my brother's death was really the catalyst to my awakening. I didn't talk about it with anyone. I tried to forget about it, but it was always there and present. And a few years after that, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had advanced malignant melanoma, and for about a year and a half, from 2006 through the end of 2007, I went through a series of many, many painful surgeries, and the real fear that I was going to die. And I had to face all of my fears. I had to really, I came to the point of being on my knees and being in total surrender, and really, really wanting to live, but not wanting to live the way I had in the past. And so after my cancer, I went through a divorce, and I left my very comfortable corporate job to set out and find my truth and really awaken to the truth of who I was. And that began my journey. But yes, it was almost to the day back in 2001 that this journey began for me. So thank you for asking and for the opportunity to share that part of my story.
Well, that is so powerful. Almost 15 years tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
What an incredible journey to let go of all of that. So your words of advice, this is really, I know that it's each individual's journey to let go of things that no longer serve. Would you say that because your journey and your understanding of what it is, of letting go, actually will help other people, so it doesn't have to be so dramatic? Because you really are a way shower there. You paved the way with your own experience, and now that really does help others get to that level much, much faster.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I had a lot of very wonderful teachers in my life, and a lot of people that really inspired me. And as the old saying goes, when the student is ready, the teacher appeared. And I am very grateful for that. But I also found on my path that I had a knowing of something that did not exist in the world for me at that time. I had a knowing of a level of wisdom and way of being that I could not find anyone else that was living that way. And I believe it a big part of my own asking really and desiring to know what is the highest perspective that we can live from, what is truly possible for everyone. How do we realize our ultimate potential here, and what is that? What are we capable of? I knew we were so much more powerful than we, specifically me. I knew that there was so much more to me, that there was so much more power available to me than what I was really tapping into. And what happened for me is, after I really, with complete faith, let go of everything that was safe and secure and comfortable to me, letting go of the things that I knew that I really needed to let go of in my life, even though it was really scary. I came to this place of finding meditation and yoga and reading some incredible books from incredible spiritual teachers. And through the process of meditating and journaling, I started to receive even greater communication. And my experience with my brother just continued to expand and expand and expand to starting to receive a very fluent level of communication that came through me stronger than ever before. And so I had started journaling, and I would sit down and journal, and I would ask a question, and I would start writing, and I would write for an hour or two, and I would not remember. I would not be writing in my handwriting. But these were the truths I was looking for. This was the wisdom I was seeking, and it was coming through me onto paper right in front of me. And it was the most incredible experience, and the wisdom that was there, I just really started applying in my life. And I had a lot of fear, and I had a lot of limiting beliefs, and yet there seemed like a sense of urgency to process those things and to transcend them and to get to the truth of them. And these incredible processes started coming through in this writing and the journaling I was doing. And then as divine order and synchronicity would have it, I met an incredible woman who became my very best friend in a yoga class, even though she was only there 3 times. The very last time we got talking, and she told me she was a practitioner of Dolores Cannon's quantum hypnosis healing technique. And so I asked her to do a session with me, and so we did this incredible session where she gets you in touch with your higher self or your highest self. And after a short period of time, the counsel started coming through very strongly and audibly. And she had recorded these sessions for me. And I realized that what was coming through me now with the counsel was the same teachings and the same energy and vibration that was coming through with the writings. And so it was this incredible journey. And that really started in a time in my life where I really was letting go of a lot of fear I had and transcending a lot of limiting beliefs that I had picked up in my life experience. And the counsel was bringing through to her and to me these incredible processes for transcending fear and answering any questions that we had about, this life experience and what was possible. And it was just a really incredible journey of learning how to receive the vibration of the counsel, getting to a place where I could vibrationally receive them and hold that for long periods of time and kind of fine-tune the interpretation of their blocks of thoughts that come through. And so after that, I started having people come and wanting to do sessions, and had the incredible opportunity to be part of watching other people's lives really transform when they applied this wisdom in their life. And it's just been an incredible journey, and I'm so grateful for it. And as we started off the call, I think this is the most important time right now in our lives, in our world, on our planet. And it is so important that each and every one of us awaken to our soul's ultimate purpose and transcend the fear once and for all. The council has said time and time again that, fear does not belong to us. It does not belong to us. It is something that we picked up on this path. And it is so very important that we let it go once and for all, because we are here to be the way showers, and we are here to birth the new earth. We are here to hold the vision of the dream of the world we want to live in and watch it manifest before our eyes. And the other thing that they really talk about right now that is so important is realizing how instant our manifestations are, and the energy and the vibration has picked up such that we can experience instant manifestation, and they have brought in the process for instant manifestation. So each one of us can be realizing this in our lives. And I believe this is all part of the shift that is going on, the quantum leap forward. And there is a quickening of the vibration, the energy, and what we are transcending, so that we can birth new earth in the most peaceful, cooperative, harmonious way, done through the love and the light that comes through all of us, because each one of us are vessels for the light and the love. And each one of us are here contributing to raising the vibration of humanity. And that is so important at this time.
Yes. And everyone listening to this show and shows like this, that is their greatest clarion call. I know that touches each of us deeply. So we're going to learn more about instant manifestation. Perhaps when we bring the council on, they can speak to that in these times. I want to tell our listeners, those who are on the phone can hit *2, raise your hand in this live call if you wish to ask the council a question. Normally the council will come and bring us forth a message, and then we'll open it up to questions. And if you're watching on the webcast, on the webpage, you can refresh your screen, and that will bring up a question box so you can submit your questions for the council. We'll see what we can get to and maybe just try to get to the majority or the common themes that people are asking about. I know it will do more with how we can go forward in the world, standing in our power. So before you bring in the council, that's fascinating how you had to work to hold their energy. And it's interesting because they are non-physical beings. Can you share a little bit about what you know about who they are, what realms they exist in, and such?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to speak a little bit to the process, what I had to learn to do was to reach for their vibration. So if you think of this all as energy, we are vibrational beings. We're spiritual beings here having a human experience. But the truth of us is that we are energy. We are light and we are vibration. And so the world that we want to live in is at this vibration where we are lifting ourselves and we are lifting humanity into a higher vibration of love. And so if you are in a place of fear, if you even think of the word fear or anxiety or suffering or stress or any of these things, when you think of how you felt when you're in stress, you're kind of closed off. If you think of someone that's in fear, they kind of walk around with their head down and their shoulders slumped, and that's a vibration. It's a vibration that is slow. It's not the truth of who we are, and that's why it feels so awful to be in the space of fear, or to be the feeling, the experience of suffering, because it's not who we truly are, as the council has said many times. And so they are here to help us remember who we are, who we really are, and why we are here in this life experience, and what it is that we intended when we came to this life experience, and that we never meant it to be so hard. It's meant to be joyful. It's meant to be fun. And they are here to remind us of that and to help us remember. And so all of those things are a vibrational experience that is the natural set point that all of us come here with. But depending on what you've gone through in your life experience, you pick up fears, you pick up limiting beliefs, you pick up judgments of yourself, and in some cases we're taught, not to love ourselves and that we're not worthy. And this is not how we intend to live. And so for everyone who's on this call right now, it is a reminder. It is you have created this conversation to come forth for you at this time to remind you of the truth of who you are. And that is why they're here. And so I had to really transcend a lot of fear in my own life, of being judged for doing this. I really wanted to be normal. I wanted to live a normal life, quote unquote, whatever that is. And so I had to let go a lot of my own fears, and the council really helped me to do that. But what I realized is that when we return back to the natural vibration of who we are, which is beyond having transcended these fears, our natural vibration is very high. And so that is the space of living where we're living in the miraculous, where serendipitous moments happen and things just come, quote unquote, out of the blue, and everything just seems to work out for us, and things magical kind of happen. We think of someone and they call, or we look at a clock and it's 11:11, or we go out for a walk and we find a $20 bill, or we serendipitously meet someone. And that's the way we're supposed to be living. We are supposed to be living in this miraculous way where things just work out for us. and where there is infinite supply, and where there is abundance and harmony in our lives. And so that's a vibrational experience, and that's a vibration that we reach for, or a vibration that we're at. And so the council and the non-physical realm that is out there supporting us, they're here for us. And as they have said many times, we are the brave ones, we are the courageous ones that came here and took a body and came to Earth at this time with very important roles to play. We answered the call, as they would say. We are the ones here to live our greater calling in the physical experience, and we are expressing the divine plan through us. We are here expressing the divine in the world, being the expressions of Source and being the miracles for one another. But that happens from living in this vibrational reality, which is beyond the fear and the suffering. And so the council and those in non-physical that are supporting us, they are not here in the density of the body. And so they're in this vibration at all times, but they're there to hold the vibration for us so that we don't lose our way. And so reaching for them is an experience that everyone can have. And they've brought this through in meditation many times, that as you are meditating, or even if you're going about your day, really focusing on your breath and focusing on reaching higher and higher and higher vibrationally for that place which is only love, that place which is beyond the fear. And so when I first started receiving them, I really had to meditate and focus my energy on letting go of everything in my thoughts and just reaching for that place with them. And they have to actually come down vibrationally to meet me in that place where I can interpret the blocks of consciousness and the blocks of thought that they bring through. And so it's a meeting of vibration that we've practiced for hundreds and hundreds of hours to be able to fluently bring through the council in a way that we could hear them and receive them, and that I really learned how to translate what it was that they were bringing through. And so they are, I believe that my higher self and the soul of who I am is part of the council, but I also believe that the higher self and the soul of everybody that participates in the conversations with the council is present and guiding us and helping us remember. And so they have said that we are all of you. We are the highest selves of all of you. We are one with all that is, just as you are, but it's also your loved ones. It's also the ones that are on the other side, that are most interested in you, that love you so dearly and have so much compassion for you. And so they are made up each time of whoever is most interested in the conversation that is happening here today. And so I always feel a pretty strong, familiar presence with the council when they come through, but sometimes I can feel new energies that come in, and sometimes I feel an incredible expansion of energies that have come in because there's so many that are involved in the conversation and so many asking. So I feel that energy today, and I'm sure that they will bring in a lot of incredible information for us.
Okay, well, we are looking forward to bringing them forward, and I know it takes you a moment or two. So as you prepare, we will get ready to hear their message, and I have a couple of questions for them for our group, and then also I know we'll take individual callers as well. Thank you, Sara. I know you take a moment, so begin when you're ready.
We are so pleased to have the opportunity to speak with you on this fine day. How are you, our friend?
We are feeling empowered as we've been inspired by your channel to reach for the higher vibrations, the higher vibrational reality. Yet it has been one doozy daisy of a week, and so we wish for you to address the importance of using current situations to fuel our dreams, Can you speak to this, please?
We would love to. It is such an important time on your planet, in your lives, in your communities, in your world, in your country. It is a very important time. And so we know that in your Earth experience, it has been 1 week since your election, and many of you have been experiencing great amounts of emotion and feelings and energy that has come through, but we assure you that all is well. We assure you that all is well, exactly how it is in this now moment. Everything is perfect. Everything is in divine order. All is so very well. So very well. And each and every one of you are a part of the momentous shift that is happening in your world at this time. You are here with us today because you are the way showers. You are the leaders. You have come here to lead humanity forward. There is a better way. There is a way that is of love. There is a way that is of cooperation and harmony and compassion, where there is abundance for all. This is the new earth that you speak of. Each and every one of you on this call today, each and every one of you who listen to this call, whether it is now or any time in the future, it is because you know that you answered the call. You answered the call to be here during this important time in humanity's shift, in Gaia's shift. It is so very important. So all is well. All is well. And the important part of this now moment is to remember your role, to live your greater calling, to awaken to the truth of who you are, and to awaken to your soul's ultimate purpose. It starts with you transcending your fear. It starts with you letting it go once and for all, and living a life that is truly free, living a life that is truly allowing of the power that you are to flow through you at all times. Source works through you. The light comes through you. The love that comes to this planet to raise the vibration of humanity works through you. It is so very important. And the work you have done, each and every one of you, to get to the place that you are now is so very important. The more that you awaken, the more that you live a conscious life, consciously aware of your vibration in every moment, of who you are being in the world. You are the leaders. You are the powerful leaders. It is not about who you elected as your president, because you are the powerful leaders that will change the world to reflect to you the love that you want to see. You are here birthing the new earth with your thoughts in every moment. So everything that you are feeling, you are contributing to the mass consciousness. So if you are feeling anger, if you are feeling fear, if you are feeling like you need to shut down and protect yourself, that is what you're adding to the mass consciousness. But we are here to remind you that the fear is not the truth of you. The anger is not the truth of you. The suffering that has occurred in your life is not the truth of you. It is not the truth of you, and you can let it go now, once and for all, because there is much to do. There is much to do. And so each time you can catch your thoughts and shift them and raise your vibration and focus on what it is you want to see in your world, you are contributing that to the mass consciousness. And you are realizing more quickly the new earth that each and every one of you want to live in. But you are the courageous ones. You are the powerful ones. You are the ones that will come together and co-create this world. You are. And it's time, and it's now. And it's so very important for each one of you to be the way showers. The world is watching you. The world is watching America right now. We know this is a global call, but they are watching you. How will you respond? And this is your time to respond, to shine your light, to stand in your power, the power of love, the power of unity, the power of oneness. Be the way forward. Be the way. You are so powerful, as we have said before. When you are in fear and your vibration is very low, it takes many more people in fear to get anything done. But one of you standing in your power, realizing the vibration of the truth of who you are, the power of love that you are in the world, one of you in that vibration is more powerful than a million that are not at that vibration. So we bring forth the message of hope. We bring forth the message, the promise of the beautiful future, the beautiful new earth that you're creating. One that is of love, harmony with all things, harmony with other beings, harmony with the planet, harmony with the animals, harmony with the plants, harmony with all things, working together lovingly, where there is abundance for everyone, where you have transcended as a world your fear. The time of new earth is now, and it is so very important because, as we have said, all things are a continuation. All things are a continuation. And there is so much more possible for all of you once you realize new earth in your human family. So we understand this last week has been emotional and much has come up for all of you. But now it is time to move forward. Now it is time to step in your power. Now is the time to be the way showers, to show the world what you will create with this opportunity at this time. Does this make sense to you, our friend?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for really inspiring words. Yes, we are the way showers. We know this deep down. We are here bringing New Earth forward. This is our mission. Every one of us listening. Can you give us some words that we could use, some behaviors that we could use as we each go around our world and our realities, and we are seeing people with vibrations that are sad or fearful or dubious or angry? What can we do? Can you give us specific examples of shining that light with a gentle way? Because I know many of us in this past week have been attempting to do that with the beautiful ones in our lives, and yet it takes an incredible amount of what we call kids' gloves. And then maybe some people just look at us and don't know what to think of it. Share on this, because we're hoping that when we're reaching and expressing how we feel and standing in our light, reminding everyone this is time to be in their own personal sovereignty, to do what they're here to do on earth. It's challenging to really hope that we're getting through. Perhaps we are on a subtle level, but we'd like to know, is there the best way of doing this?
That is a wonderful question, and we have much that we will bring forth to you about this question, but we begin with this, and we think it's so very important for you to understand, each and every one of you. Each and every one of you are one with all that is. You are all connected. You are all one. And we assure you that there is only love. The truth of who you are is that there is only love. The truth of who everyone else is that they are only love. And so in any moment where you are seeing someone who is in fear or in judgment or antagonistic or suffering, they have forgotten the truth of who they are. They have forgotten that they are only love. They have forgotten the connection to the truth of who they are. They have forgotten their power. And so the greatest thing that you can do is be in your power. Be at the highest vibration that you are. And this is why there has been so much talk and so much teaching about consciousness. Because in every now moment, you are making a choice. Every now moment, no matter what is going on around you, you are making a choice of how you are being. You are making a choice whether you are reaching for the highest vibration of who you are. And so the first step is to breathe. Reach for the highest vibration that you are. Remind yourself that there is only love, and that love is the only power. And be in that moment. Be in that moment. It is not your job to change anyone else. It is not your job to convince them to agree with you or to see the world as you do. It is your job to be the better way. That is what is meant by the way shower. Not the way teller, not the way fixer, the way shower. Be the way. So when you come into these moments with another, it is so important. And this is why we talk about transcending your own fears and feelings of not enoughness. This is why we talk about self-worth and self-love being so important, because whatever you are thinking, your thoughts are so powerful. They are so much more powerful than you know. Whatever you are thinking when you are standing in the presence of another, whether your thoughts are coming out your mouth or not, they are receiving them. They are receiving your vibration, and they are receiving your thoughts. And the most powerful vibration in that moment will be the way shower. So when you are with another, if you are thinking thoughts of them in judgment, if you are thinking thoughts of them, if you are seeing them in any way other than their perfection, you are missing the opportunity. See them as their perfection. See them as perfect love. See them as perfect health. See them as perfect wealth and abundance. See them as perfect harmony. See their perfection and know they are one with all that is, no matter what they are saying. And then stand in your power and make sure that every thought about yourself is only of love as well. Make sure that any thought you have of yourself is of your perfection. If you are in the presence of another and you are thinking about something else, or you are thinking something limiting about yourself, oh, I'm not good enough, or maybe my hair doesn't look that good, or maybe I don't look dressed well enough today, or you're thinking about something else, you are not in that present now moment holding the highest vibration of the truth of who you are. And so being aware of your presence, being aware of your energy, being the perfection of who you are, no matter what is going on around you, is so very important. And we assure you that the highest vibration of the truth of who you are is only one breath away, no matter what is going on. If your vibration has slowed, if you have lost yourself for a moment, breathe. Take a deep breath. It is far more important than any response. It is far more important than thinking about what you will say next. Breathe. Breathe in your power and reach for the vibration that is the truth of you. Reach for the love. And most importantly, breathe in the power that is you. Breathe it into every cell of your body. Breathe in your light. breathe in your love. Focus on this. And whatever environment you go in with this power, you will automatically shift the conversation. You will automatically shift the energy. That is how powerful you are. But it does not come by preparing what you're going to say or preparing your argument. It comes by breathing in your power and standing in your power. That is how you lead. That is how you lead. And then realizing the other is only love. And anything other than that is just fear. It's just something they picked up in their life experience. And maybe they have not had the opportunity to awaken the way that you have. Maybe they have not had the wisdom that you have. But you can be that wisdom. You can be it. And so we will expand on this, and we think it's so very important to talk to you about instant manifestation. So all of you are realizing that your desires are manifesting at every moment. And so especially at this time, it is so important to understand the process to birthing the new earth, the process to instant manifestation, the process to being in your power. And it starts, number one, with acceptance. Acceptance. Accept everything in your life right now. Accept everything in your world. Accept everything that is going on. Acceptance. Acceptance. Everything is perfect, just as it is right now. All is well, and all is in divine order. Acceptance. Acceptance, because every now moment is manifesting your next now moment. And as soon as you make peace with everything that is going on right now, as soon as you take the action of acceptance, you can begin manifesting a new future. But acceptance is number one, and the instant manifestation of acceptance is peace. Peace in your life, peace in your soul, peace in your world, peace in your country, peace in your communities. The instant manifestation of acceptance is peace. And we think each and every one of you on this call want peace in your lives, peace for your loved ones, and peace for your world. But peace is on the other side of acceptance. And from there, the second action in the process of instant manifestation is trust. Trust that all is well and in divine order, and that your soul, the higher part of you, that is always one with all that is always out ahead of you. And that divine orchestration is working through you. That divine orchestration is out ahead of you. It is out ahead of you, moving everything that you desire into your path. It is orchestrating. It is orchestrating the synchronicities, the divine moments. It is out ahead of you. Trust that there is something greater than you here. Trust that divine will is working through you. Surrender your own free will to that of divine will working through you. It is so very important. Trust that there is only love. If you can trust that there is only love, and that everything is working out for you, and that your soul and your higher self is out ahead of you, from the highest perspective, orchestrating everything on your path to work out perfectly for you, then the manifestation, the instant manifestation is love. If you can trust, the instant manifestation is love. Love for yourself, love for everyone else, love for everything. Because you know that you are divine love, and so is everyone else. Everyone else is also the perfect expression of the divine. It is within everyone. But you as the way showers, can be only love. That is the instant manifestation of trust. And then from there, life becomes really fun for you, because the next action is to allow. Allow because you know everything is working out for you. Allow because you know there is a grand plan here. You know that there is divine will and there is a divine plan, and that if you could be in the highest vibration of the truth of who you are, that is where your inspired actions are. That is where your inspired thoughts are. That is where you receive from the highest perspective exactly what you need to know in every moment. If you allow the highest vibration of the truth of who you are, you know that everything will work out perfectly. And the instant manifestation of allowing in your life is joy. And you will experience more joy in your life than you ever thought possible. Because you are here for the joy. You are here for the fun. And so many of you are pushing against all of the things that you do not want. When if you can reach for the highest vibration of the truth of who you are, and you can accept, and you can trust, and you can allow, then life becomes very fun for you. And you can be experiencing joy in your life. And if there is something you need to do besides being in each moment the love that you are, at the highest vibration of the truth of who you are, if you are at that vibration, any inspired thoughts that you need will come. Any inspired actions that you must take, they will come. And things will flow effortlessly for you. Life is meant to be easy. It is meant to be effortless. And where it is not, you are not allowing. So the instant manifestation of allowing is joy. Joy in your life. And if you can imagine your life being of peace, being of love, and being of joy, then you can imagine that the whole world can live from this place. Each and every person can realize a life that is peaceful and full of love and full of joy. And it is possible. It is possible for each one of you. Does this make sense to you, our friend?
Yes, it does. And I hope that this has answered some questions coming in. I know you picked up on that with this beautiful lesson on instant manifestation and really allowing ourselves, trusting and accepting what is. And really, this is our responsibility in this time to be in the highest vibration that we can, no matter what. I love to say this is all hands on deck for New Earth. And so I hope that you answered David's question by saying that we're not pushing against that what we don't want, that we have to stand in our power by being this high vibration. I want to give you a moment to address it one more time, one more go around here, because David, his question is, I'm dubious that all is well. Was all well also when Hitler rose to power and murdered 6+ million Jews not to mention the millions killed in that war?
We would love to answer this question for you because it is so very important, because here is why this is different. Here is why all is well, because none of you on this call would allow that to ever happen again. We bring forth the understanding first before we answer your question completely. But you must understand that you are creating new earth with your thoughts, with the thoughts that you are thinking. You are creating with your thoughts. They are so very powerful. And so, as you came into this life experience, you knew that there would be contrast. You knew that there would be things that you liked and there would be things that you didn't like. You knew this, but you didn't intend to sit and look at the things that you didn't like or you didn't want for long periods of time and focus on them. You manifest by focusing your intention and your thoughts with energy, with power. And so the universe does not hear from you whether it's something you want or you don't want. It is just flowing energy to where you are with great passion, focusing your intentions and your thoughts. And so as you look in your world, the contrast is a wonderful thing, because it is showing you what you want and is showing you what you don't want. But if you can shift and take back your power, instead of giving your power away and lowering your vibration when you see something you do not want, do not contribute to it. Allow it to guide you to what you do want. Allow it to give you clarity and perspective of what you do want. And the more powerful the thing that you do not want, the more powerfully you shift into what you do want. And you get clarity on what you do want. The clarity is that you do not want there to be another experience like what has happened in your past. You want this now moment. You want all beings to be free, to be loved, to be accepted for who they are. No matter their ethnicity, their religion, their race, their gender, their sexual preferences. Holding the vision because of the powerful contrast that you have seen in your life experience that has given you clarity that all beings should be free and should be sovereign beings and should have their power, and that all beings should be living in abundance with love and peace and joy. Your thoughts are creating that. Your thoughts are contributing to that. Your thoughts are shifting the mass conscious spheres to a place of love. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful your thoughts are. So whatever you are focused on, that is what you're contributing to. And we're here to remind you of how very, very powerful your focused intentions are and your focused thoughts. And we are not saying that what happened in the time of Hitler and other events that has happened in your world, we are not saying that they were not awful, that the experience of them was not awful. But we are saying that you are here on this call today because you want to realize a new earth. And so take that powerful knowing and that powerful clarity and focus on what you want to create. As we have said, one of you holding the vibration of the truth of who you are and knowing that there is only love is more powerful than a million that are not. And so if you are in the presence of another that is in fear because maybe they are a gay American, they have a sexual preference that they have chosen is to love another of the same sex, holding the vision for them, living in a world where they can choose whatever they want and standing in them with love, standing with them in their power. This is all about power. All of this is about power. Are you going to let circumstances outside of you take your power? Are you going to let someone that has tried to assert power over you, are you going to let them take your power? Your power is for you. Your power is for you. And so in your world, if you want everyone to live free, irregardless of their sexual preferences or their ethnicity or their religion, then speak of that. Speak of all beings being free. Speak of all beings being powerful. Speak of all beings being love. Because that is what you're creating in your every now moment. What has happened in your past, was a manifestation of whatever thoughts you were thinking in your past, wherever your mass consciousness was in the past. And we don't think that there's much power there for you or for anyone else, other than clarity. And once you have it, which we know you do, our friend David, and the rest of you who are listening, you have clarity of what you want to see in this world experience now. So manifest that in your now moments. Be focused on that. Because that is what's creating the next now moment and the next now moment and the next now moment. Because as we have said, everything that you're thinking and feeling is contributing to the mass consciousness. And it is creating the world around you. Does that make sense? Our friend Aaron, does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. It does. It does. Holding the vision and focusing on what we want to create. I would like for you to speak a little bit about self-love and also forgiveness. But on the same point, maybe on this next question, this is from an anonymous person, but particularly how we're not victims here. We're no longer victims. We don't need to forgive ourselves for certain things that our current reality doesn't agree with or appears to not agree with. Here is the question. This woman says, how do I learn to forgive myself for having an abortion, which this reality judges as murder, and that women ought to be punished? How do I forgive myself and feel worthy?
That is a wonderful question. And we tell our friend, this anonymous questioner, we remind you that you are so very, very loved. All of you are. All of you are more loved than you can ever imagine. And there is no judgment ever from our side for any choices you make in your human experience. There is no choice that you could ever make that needs to be forgiven, because there is only love for you. And we love you so very, very much. And the truth of you, your soul, your higher self, the part of you that is always one with all that is, the part of you that is always one with Source or God or the beloved or the divine, it never judges you. And the higher self and the soul and the truth of who everyone else is never judges you either. Because at the truth of you, at your soul, there is only love. There is only love. And so any judgment that another places on you is a fear that they have picked up in their life experience, and it does not belong to them. Any judgment that you have of yourself is a fear that you have picked up, a belief that you have picked up in your life experience, and it does not belong to you. And here is what we say about your topic in particular. The moment that each and every one of you make your transition to the other side, you will reemerge with the love that you are, with the bliss that you are, in the absolute knowing of the truth of who you are. It is one breath away. When you make your transitions to the other side, it is only one breath away. When you stop breathing and you make your transition, you will reemerge back into the love that you are, into the truth of what you are. It is a vibrational experience of releasing this body, the density of this body, and reemerging back into the highest vibration, where we are, where all that is, always is. And so nothing could ever hurt you. Nothing could ever kill you. Nothing could ever end you. And yes, the body ends, but that's not the truth of you. The body falls away, but that is not the truth of you. So you could never kill another. You could never have an abortion and kill the soul of another, kill the truth of another. You cannot. Each and every one of you are one with all that is. And you can realize that more fully in your being and in your life experience if you can let go of these fears and these beliefs that you have picked up. There is nothing for you to forgive. And that is what we mean by acceptance. Accept in this moment that all is well. All is so very well. It is in divine order and all is perfect just as it is right now. There is nothing to forgive. You are here as a spiritual being having a human experience. And you can either be contributing to the world you want to see, and shining your light and standing in your power, or you can be in fear. But your power is standing in your love. And so we love that you have asked us about self-love, because it is the most important thing. Your worthiness, your deservedness, and your self-love is the most important thing. Because that is where your power lies. You cannot be a victim and be powerful. And so we will speak about victim for a moment because it is important, and then we will come back to self-love. But we understand that some of you have had experiences that were very emotional for you or hurtful. You may have had an experience where in that moment you felt victimized by someone else. And we hold the vibration of compassion for you. But we tell you that when that reality ended, it was done. And if you are still feeling like the victim, it is because you have given your power away. You have given your power to whomever was in that situation with you or to the situation. But it is not the truth of you. The soul that you are could never be a victim to anyone or anything. And so you cannot be a victim and stand in your truth. You cannot be a victim and stand in your power. You cannot be a victim and know that there is only love. And so it is a choice. And we realize that terrible things have happened to people in their life experience. But it is your opportunity to shift beyond that, to release it and transcend it, and know that there is only love. There is only love. And return to your power. You do not need to sit with these fears and sit with suffering and sit in your limiting beliefs for years and years and figure out where they came from and who wronged you and where you picked up these limiting beliefs. You do not. It is a choice that you make in every moment, because these fears, they don't belong to you. being a victim does not belong to you. It is not who you are. And so we give you the analogy of when you came into this life experience, you were divine love. You showed up here in a body as divine love and light expressing in human form. You are here in this life experience for the purpose of your own expression, your own perfect expression of the divine working through you. You are here for the expansion of your soul, which leads to the expansion of the universe. And you are here to have fun and to experience joy. That is what you came here as, divine love. And as you went through your life experience and you became more and more aware, people started sticking these Post-it notes on you. They came up to you with their limiting beliefs, and they wrote down their own limiting beliefs that had nothing to do with you, and they started sticking these limiting beliefs all over you like Post-it notes, all over your front and all over your back. And then you went through life experiences and you wanted to be loved, and so you started agreeing with these limiting beliefs, and things happened to you when you were not realizing the powerful beings that you were, and so you picked up these fears, and they're just all over you. They're just stuck all over you, but they don't belong to you. You would never say that a Post-it note stuck on you was the truth of who you are, and we assure you they are not the truth of who you are. Anything other than you being powerful and you being perfect love does not belong to you. It is not the truth of you. And so you can take these Post-it notes off once and for all. It doesn't matter where they came from. It doesn't matter how long you've had them. It doesn't matter who put them there or why they put them there. You can take them off in this now moment because they do not belong to you. And when you do, all that will be left is the truth of who you are, which is divine love, which is the highest vibration of who you are, which is the soul that you are, that is always one with all that is, because those Post-it notes are much heavier than you realize. It is quite exhausting to carry them around. So your vibration will be very well served by letting them go. And so when we say to you how important self-love is, it is the key to everything you want, to the perfect health that you want and is always available to you, to the perfect wealth that you want, to the perfect abundance, to the perfect love and loving relationships, to the harmony that you want to see in your life, and to the perfect service that each of you want to be to the divine, to the world. And so you have to stand in your worthiness. You have to stand in your deservedness. It is your divine birthright to experience peace and love and joy in every moment. It is your divine birthright. And you intended to experience that when you came into this life experience. And where you are not, it is just that you have forgotten the truth of who you are and the truth of who everyone is. And no one can take that away from you unless you give them the power to do so. And this is not about fighting against others who judge you or others who have a different opinion than you. It's not about fighting against that. Allow them to have their own opinion. Allow them to. You never meant to all agree. But the more you step into your power, the more you hold the vision with your focused thoughts and your focused intention, the world around you will begin to manifest. And others that want to co-create the world that you are holding the vision for will come into your life. That's why you're on this call today. Life will begin to be very fun for you once you can hold this vision once you can focus your thoughts on what you want, the world will begin to change. And these people that judged you in the past, they will fall out of your world. This is a vibrational experience. And even our experience here with you, although our words are very important, it is the vibration that we are bringing through to you. We are bringing a vibration through to you to help you remember the truth of who you are. And once you remember, you cannot forget. Once you awaken, you cannot be unawakened. Once you are conscious, you cannot be unconscious. Just having the experience of this vibration will change everything for you. And it is supposed to be easy and effortless. But it cannot be easy and effortless if you do not embrace the truth of who you are. And that is self-love. That is self-worth. Knowing that you are deserving beings. So we know that was a very long-winded answer about the importance of self-love and that none of you are victims, but that you are all powerful beings, and that there is nothing to forgive. There is nothing to forgive, because you cannot get this wrong. You cannot get this life experience wrong. You cannot. And as you are more awakened to the truth of who you are and living more consciously, it will get easier for you. It will get easier for you. And you will realize that there was never anything or anyone judging you. That you cannot make mistakes because all is well and in divine order. And that is acceptance. Does that answer your question, our dear friend?
Yes, and I believe that it helps calm many questions that came in on that, as we really, truly recognize that we change from our love. The world as we see it and all the negative things that we see in it are there because of what we have been focusing on. So as we remember the truth of who we are, it is the only responsibility that we're here for, to step into our personal power, holding the vision, focusing on what we want. Because as you said so eloquently, the council said having this vibration will change everything. And so really it's a responsibility of seeing everything that we don't want to see, whether it's about rights for gay people who are our beloved brothers and sisters or people of other races. The greatest responsibility that we have and can do is to step into this power and change from love, that vibration from love. You know, some may think that this is a cop-out to just be in love, but really it is the greatest lesson that we could do. The greatest lesson of love is to be in that love. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. There are many questions coming in, personal questions at the time. If we can get to them, we will try.
May we expand for one moment? We apologize for interrupting you, but we would like to address this comment that this is a cop-out, and we're going to explain to you why it's not. We have said to you, one of you holding the vibration of the truth of who you are is more powerful than a million that are not. And so when we tell you that you are manifesting and that you can manifest instantly by reaching for the highest vibration, which is of love and of peace and of joy and harmony, when you are in that vibration, you can manifest very, very quickly. That is why focusing on what you want, that is why feeling good is so very powerful. But we didn't say that low vibrations do not manifest. They do. One who is in fear can still manifest. One who is evoking fear or low density thoughts of hatred and anger and all of those other things, they can still manifest. They can still manifest. They are still here, as each and every one of you are, to manifest. But, as we have said, it takes 1 million of them or more to manifest what you can manifest from the highest vibration. So you must understand this. It's so very important to understand this. Unconsciously, one that is in fear realizes that they are slow, dense vibration when they are in fear. And so they have figured out unconsciously that the only way that they have any power to manifest, and certainly the only way that they have a chance to manifest quickly, is to come together with other slow, dense vibrations. And so there has to be more and more and more and more and more of them. So unconsciously what they are doing is trying to gather their troops or their forces of low, dense vibration by having many, many, many of them. And so when that fear energy is present, and this is unconscious, they are not consciously aware in most instances that this is what is working or not working for them. But if they are understanding that they have to attract more and more and more fear vibrations to them, they need you to be in fear in order for your power or your manifestation to be contributing to their cause. And so if they can get you to identify with fear, if they can get you to give up your truth of who you are or forget it, and to give your power away, then they can be more powerful. And so when we say to you to stand in your power and not give it away, it is because you are negotiating in every moment your vibration. You are negotiating your vibration. And so when we teach you and we remind you to hold the vibration of love, the highest vibration of the truth of who you are, this is why. When we bring forth to you how important your breath is, how important your thoughts are, how important holding the vision is, the vision for your life. When we talk to you about meditation and why all of this is important, it is so that you consciously focus your vibration and your energy to what you want to be creating, what you want to be manifesting. Because if you are in judgment of yourself or another, if you are in fear, if you are feeling limited, if you are feeling this slow, dense, suffering vibration, then you are co-creating with other fear vibrations. And those fears can manifest. That's how important your vibration is. That is why it matters. This is not a cop-out. This is very, very important. Does this make sense to you?
Hallelujah. It is not a cop-out. It is one of the greatest things that we can do. Yes, it is our mission. It is what we are here to do, and it is how we bring forth new earth. Thank you, Council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, I would like to go to our phone line. When I unmute you, please ask your question for the Council, who will then reply. So you get one chance here to ask your question. Let's go to Randy in New York. Hello, Randy. What is your question, please?
Hello. Oh, thank you so much. So, as a soul, I realize, I've chosen this near-death experience. As the body, mind, ego, and emotions, it's a problem. So, how do I go through being grateful for, the diversity and the tumultuous weirdness as I still am in a body with the mind and the ego? Thank you. I love you.
We love you. Thank you for your question. We are going to address this here because we want to tell you all to make friends with this thing you call your ego. It is not such a bad guy, this ego of yours. We will explain this to you, but your ego is really truly your perceptions from your brain. And we will talk about this for a minute because you must understand that your brain does not understand your soul. It has no data, it has no experience of it, because your brain is a perceiving mechanism. It is just a computer. Your brain is just a computer running your system. It It is a perceiving mechanism that perceives what you see in your physical world in front of you, what you hear, what you taste, what you touch, what you smell. It perceives the reality in front of you in the physical world. It perceives matter. And so it does not have an experience of soul. It does not have an experience of God or the divine or all that is. And so be forgiving of your ego, because it doesn't have an understanding. Your brain is there to keep you alive in the human body, but your brain does not understand that you're a spiritual being having a human experience. So it is here to keep you alive, because it doesn't understand that there's more to this. And so be patient with it. Remember that your brain and your ego are only perceiving the world in front of you, and the job that it has is to keep you alive in this human body that you're in right now. But you know that there's more. And so we will explain a bit more of how your brain works, and why your thoughts are so important, and why being conscious and aware of your thoughts and your breath are so important, being aware of your vibration. Because your brain is very efficient. It is very efficient. It has neural pathways. And so the more you think a thought, the deeper that neural pathway becomes. If you think of the experience where you drive to the grocery store, and the very first time that you maybe moved into your neighborhood and you drove to the grocery store, you probably had to focus on that a lot, because you didn't know where to turn, you didn't know where to go, you didn't know how to easily find a parking space, you didn't know where the parking was, and so you had to focus. But after the first time, you kind of got the hang of it, and the second and the third time and the fourth time, and then the 100th time you went to the grocery store, you had this neural pathway in your brain that could drive you there without having to think about it very much. Your brain just delivered the signals that directed your body to drive to the grocery store without you having to do much effort. It is a neural pathway that is very well developed in your brain. And so if you move to a new neighborhood and you have a new grocery store, you're going to have to develop a new neural pathway. And so that is all that is going on with your thoughts. Your brain is very efficient. It is like a Google search engine. When you go into your brain and you say, what do we know about Donald Trump, or what do we know about Hillary Clinton, or what do we know about this subject? It is just returning information from you, information that you may not even consciously remember hearing. If you think about a situation in your life, Sarah had an experience where she was walking and she walked by a little bug, and she looked down and she said, oh, that's a potato bug, and her brain returned back to her a song that she hasn't heard in probably 30 years was, oh, Mr. Potato Head and his bucket of fun. Buckets of fun for everyone. It had nothing to do with the bug, but the brain, the only information in the Google search engine about that potato bug was something that she had picked up and stored in her brain 30 years ago about this Mr. Potato Head song. So that is all that is going on with your brain. It's receiving information, and it is storing it in the storage system in your brain, and it is returning thoughts to you with these neural pathways. And so you can change all of this. You can change how you're thinking. You can change the thoughts that your brain delivers to you. So if you're looking around your world and you're saying that's not very good, or if you're referring to yourself, Randy, and you think a thought about yourself that is not very good or not very loving, you can send your brain back, put your ego to work, and say, ego is only going to deliver me good thoughts about Randy. Ego is only going to deliver me good thoughts about the world. And so if your brain says to you, well, things are awful right now, say, nope, go back and search again. And your little thought will go back up your neural pathways in your brain, and it will go look for a different thought, and it will come back and say, well, the world isn't that bad right now. And you will say, nope, go back and get a different thought. And the thought will go back, and it will go to a thought that life is pretty good right now. And you'll say, Brandy, you'll say, yes, that's good, that's better. Go back and get more thoughts like that. And then your brain will go back and it'll say, life is wonderful. Everything is perfect just as it is right now. All is in divine order. And you say, yes, very good. And if you can consciously shift your thoughts about yourself and about your world and about the world that you're living in, this will make you so very powerful and so much happier. And you will see the peace in your world. You will see the love in your world. Your life will be filled with joy. But get this ego working for you. Get your brain delivering the thoughts that you want to be thinking, the things that you want to be feeling. You have power over all of this, but remember that your brain is just the perceiving mechanism, and you can retrain your brain. You can install a new software program where things are very good for you, where things in the world are very good. Maybe that is what we are all doing today. We are upgrading your software to the new Earth software, to living in a loving, harmonious, joyful world software. Because every moment, every now moment, you are choosing the world you live in. And so we understand, if you've had a near-death experience, that the greater part of you, the soul, having the experience of that was an incredible experience. But let it serve you in your role as a leader here, now that more of the truth of who you are is available to you, now that you remember more of the truth of who you are. Let it empower you and inspire you. It is a wonderful thing, our friend. It is a wonderful thing. And embrace this ego. Make it your friend. Co-create wonderful things with it, because it will respond to you. And as we have said, any thought that is not of love, it does not belong to you. Then send your thought back and have your brain deliver you a new, better feeling thought about yourself and about your world. So we thank you for your question, our friend Randy. We love you so very, very much. Our friend Maureen, do we have another question?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have time for one more caller question. So again, I remind our callers, if you have a question for the council, you will be able to ask it and the council will reply. So one more. This is Penny in Rochester. Hello?
Our friend Penny, are you there?
Hello?
Hi, Penny. Is it Penny?
Oh, yeah, I'm Penny, but I'm not from Rochester, so I don't know.
Yes. So do you have a question for the council?
Yes, thanks for taking my call. I've been really working hard for a couple years on myself, and I'm quoting from somebody else here, but how can you light up the world when you can't pay the light bill? Like, I'm in foreclosure, my phone's about to be shut off, I try to be positive, and, well, today is just kind of a rough day for me, I guess, but I've been through rough times. I just don't know what's blocking me.
Let us answer this question for you. We understand, and we are going to give you a tool. We are going to give you a powerful tool and exercise, and we understand that right in this now moment that it may feel like you cannot change this, but you can, we assure you. And if you can practice this, we assure you it will change your life. But we remind you and we tell you that you are one with all that is. And there is infinite supply available to you. And we know that there has been tough times for you. We understand, but we also know it can be better for you. And we also know that in any moment, if you can reach for the highest vibration, anytime this fear comes up, anytime you are looking at this experience, but you cannot pay the light bill, stop. stop and take a deep breath and feel for the highest vibration. Feel. Give yourself permission for a few moments to breathe and feel for a higher vibration. Because the truth of who you are is perfect wealth. It is perfect wealth. It is one with all that is, and it is infinite supply being available to you at all times. But your past life experiences and things that you have gone through and the vibration that you were in the past, and we know that none of you would ever consciously choose to go through an experience where you're going through foreclosure or bankruptcy, or an experience where you're going through a disease in your body, or any of these unwanted experiences. We know that none of you would consciously choose that ever. But sometimes it serves in coming to the truth of you. Sometimes it serves in making life better for you by turning you towards your truth, by helping you to awaken to the power that is you, to help you awaken to the truth of who you are. And no matter what situation you are in, you are a vibrational being, and you can return in any moment to the vibration of perfect wealth and perfect abundance in your life. And if you can just practice this, we assure you the situation will change. If you can breathe and reach for a higher vibration and reach beyond this layer of fear, reach beyond all of the fear and the lack in this mass consciousness layer, reach above that, reach above it, and reach for the truth of who you are, that is one with all that is perfect wealth, that is perfect abundance. You are creating your next now moment and your next now moment. And if you can do this exercise, it will change your next now moments. And life will begin to respond to you differently. But we also bring into you the opportunity for you to truly step into the love that you are and know that you are deserving and worthy. And we think that there are some in your life experience who told you that you were not worthy, who told you that you were not deserving, that life was supposed to be difficult, that you had to work very hard and suffer in order to be worthy, in order to deserve. And that is not true. It is not true unless you make it your truth. And so what is coming to the surface here are deep fears and limitations that are not the truth of you, that are trying so much to be released. So why it feels like you're working hard is because there is resistance of releasing this, but it is your soul. It is your soul that is trying to come through for you so that you can remember the truth that you are. And this experience will change for you in the moment that you can transcend that fear and limiting belief, and that you can know your worthiness and know your deservedness, and that it is supposed to be easy and effortless. And when you know your worth, the world has to reflect your worth back to you. But each and every one of you are the miracle for each other. You are the miracle for another, and another is a miracle for you. So when we say to you that no job is your source, no person is your source, that source is always available to you, that the infinite is your source, that God is your source, that all that is your source. Remember that, as we said, each and every one of you are one with all that is. So you are the miracle for each other. You are the source for each other. You are source working through you to each other. Remember this. Because as each and every one of you step into your deservedness and worthiness, It becomes so much easier to share, to see the abundance, to be the miracles for each other. But you can only do that from your power. You can only do that from the highest vibration of who you are. But there is a great amount of lack and limitation that is in your mass consciousness layer that is keeping people in fear. And we invite you to think about it that way. Think about yourself. Think about this layer around you that is the mass consciousness fears. Remember that in order for them to be powerful, there must be lots and lots and lots and lots of people thinking those fear thoughts in those slow, dense fear vibrations for them to be powerful. But you, who knows the truth, who is awakening and conscious, you can go above all of that to a layer beyond all of that, which is vibrationally beyond all of that. And the more and more you can practice that and hold for just a few moments the feeling of being perfect wealth, it will manifest in your life. And the better you get at this, it becomes really fun to sit and breathe and reach for that vibration and feel your perfect health, because nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can take that away from you. That is yours. It belongs to you. Perfect wealth belongs to you. Perfect abundance belongs to you. Your soul knows this. And anything other than that is just coming up so it can be released. And you can release it in this moment, now and forever, because the fear is gone. It is gone, and you have transcended it in this moment. So if any time your brain delivers a thought other than that, tell it to go back and look for a better feeling thought, and your life will respond. You have the tools for instant manifestation now, and you can begin to see this in your life. So, our friend Penny, we hope we have answered your question, and we love you so very, very, very much. We love you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You have left us inspired, reaching for those higher vibrations, standing fully in our power with self-love, and here as the miracles for each other. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. We love you all so very much. We come forth because we love you. We come forth because we know the truth of you. We know how grand and magnificent this life experience can be for each and every one of you, and you intended it to be that way. We come forth and we talk about living your greater calling because we know it is possible for you, all of you. We know this life experience is meant to be so very good for all of you, and it is so much easier than you are making it at times. So we love you, and we are always available to you, always. Reach for us. Open your hearts. Feel the truth of who you are. Breathe. Remember that there is only love, and reach for the highest vibration, which is the truth of who you are, because that is what everything that you want is. That is where your perfect health is. That is where your perfect wealth is, your perfect abundance, your perfect love. That is where your perfect service is. That is where New Earth is awaiting all of you. And you will manifest it. And it is so very important in this time. So very important, because it is now. In this now moment, everything you think and feel and do matters. You are all so very powerful. And we come forth to remind you. We come forth to remind you of how very loved you are. So, go forth from today and know that in this moment, if you are willing, you have transcended all of your fears, and you can move forth. In each moment, no matter what is going on, accept it. Accept it. And you will know that you have accepted it. You will know that you have accepted when you feel peace. And trust that all is in divine order. Trust that there is only love. Trust, and you will feel love. You will realize the instant manifestation of love for yourself and for all things and for all beings and for everyone. And then allow things to unfold harmoniously, effortlessly, perfectly, in divine order. And the instant manifestation will be joy. And joy is the vibration that you're looking for. Joy. Joy in your life in every moment. That will be your instant manifestation. So, we love you all so very much. And with that, we are complete.
Beautiful message from the Council, higher non-physical beings, sharing wisdom for great transformation. Thank you, Council. And so as Sara is returning back to us, we'll just remind everyone that New Earth is a frequency, and it is up to each one of us to hold that frequency, to reach for that frequency. We can do this, and we are at...
We can do this.
Yay! Hi, Sara.
Yes.
Yes, we can. We can do this. We can. Oh.
Yes.
Wow. Now, that was quite some time for the Council to come forth. So what is that like for you after channeling for so long?
Oh, it is an amazing experience for me. I when I come back in my body, it is definitely a reacclimation for a minute or two, but it is just such a awesome experience, and I can feel the love of everyone on the call and the desire for more that each and every one brings. So that makes it so much easier to hold the vibration for longer periods of time. So thank you to everybody who participated with your questions and with your wantings and with your energy. I really appreciate it. It's wonderful to be here with all of you.
Yes, thank you, Sara, and thank you for bringing forth the Council with that message. Lots of good stuff there. It's worthy of listening to. Again, anytime we go back into areas of doubt or even grief, I know there were some questions we didn't get to, but I think that the Council covered so many facets that it does give us a very strong foundation in moving forward. And what I love as well personally, we are not here to convince. We're not the way convincers or the way talkers as the Council.
Yeah.
We are the way showers. So that's going to mean different things for each of us, how we step into that, but it's a vibrational one. So beautiful. Oh, goodness.
Yes. Yeah, it's so true. And what I have learned from listening to the teachings of the Council and reading the teachings of the Council, it really can be so much easier than we make it or maybe learned for it to be. And I think that's the part that is so important to remember, is just that we don't always have to convince someone of our way or work really hard in effort, that when we really get this and start applying it in our lives, things become easier. And it really is just about being conscious of our own vibrations in that moment and our own what's coming through us. And the thing I have loved is just I find myself repeating these things in my daily life when there's a situation of just there's only love, there's only love, there's only love. Or when a fear does come up, the same, that doesn't belong to me. That doesn't belong to me. And it really does work. So yes, I re-listen to the recordings from the Council time and time again, and I hear something different every time. And as we apply this in our lives, I think the wisdom comes through even more sometimes. So thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Beautiful. I know the wisdom of the council is on some, you've done a lot of calls and group recordings with the council, and that's available for us. Personally, I listened to one this morning, and it did have me in tears, and I call it Tears of Hope because it's inspiring when we, again, are shown how, I don't want to use the word simple, it is to reach for the love vibration, but it really is simple. It might not always be easy, right? But it is simple to reach for that love vibration. So can you share a little bit about some of the work that you've done with the council? You've got some recordings that people can use to go deeper into this and with the work. So how can people use some of the recordings that you've got in your special offer?
Yes, that is a wonderful question. In the offer, the Manifesting Your Soul's Desires 4-part series has just been so incredible. We've had people on there that have been on a spiritual path for 30 plus years, working with many different teachers and reading and being, lifelong learners really of spirituality that had incredible experiences of finally getting it in this 4-part series. It was just incredible to come to the place of knowing what is a soul's desire and what is a human desire, and how to know the difference, and realizing that our soul's desires, these things that do belong to us, that is what we came here to live. Those are the dreams that we put in our heart. And so when we came into this life experience, we came with certain passions and certain desires and certain dreams that are unique to us, that are based on us living our greater calling. And so for many people, they don't even remember what those dreams and desires are, or it feels like they've waited so long or tried so hard and nothing worked, and so they lock these dreams and desires, down in the dungeon, as the council says, never to be seen again because it's so painful to want them. And I think what the council really brought through in that 4-part series was really identifying what is a soul's desires and what is the limiting thoughts and beliefs and fears that need to go, and then how do we start really living from a place of allowing infinite supply to work through us, getting in alignment with inspired action, and transcending these layers, like they have talked about even today, of the mass conscious spheres to go to a higher place, and then really putting this in practice, and so life can unfold in a way that is harmonious with your soul's desires. And if it truly is a soul's desire, you have infinite supply on your side, helping bring in the resources, and out ahead of you, designing these experiences for you that you come together with others that are part of your soul's desire. So it was just a phenomenal 4-part series. I have listened to the different parts of it many times and just continue to get more and more wisdom out of it. And the other ones that are in there are just so incredible. There's a series on opening the doors to abundance, which was a whole new perspective of anything that I had ever heard before, or that people on the call had heard before about abundance. And how do we really open to receive that? So there was some very powerful processes in that. And realizing your perfect health, and a new perspective on addictions and your wholeness and transitions. And there was some incredible information about the role of the conscious man in an awakening world and what women can do to support them. This was a really powerful teachings that came through. And so awesome topics and important things that I felt were applicable to your incredible community here. But as far as how to use them, some people, sitting in the energy of listening to the webinars, just being in that energy and keeping those recordings on throughout your day really helps stay in a high vibration, and you maybe hear something you hadn't heard before, or it answers a question that is more applicable to you now than maybe if you listened to it previously. And each time you listen, it brings through new answers and new insights. But what I have found is just having these recordings playing, the webinars playing on my iPhone or in my car or on my computer, it's just makes it very easy to stay in a high vibration. Because as they've said, the words are important, but it is really the vibrational experience. And if you can get the vibrational experience, then it's really, really easy to absorb the words and the teachings. And then for some people, being able to read the ebooks, you hear something differently when you read it, or you process something differently. So there is a ton of amazing wisdom in this, and for those who really love to listen to it and read it, there's some opportunities for that. So I think you'll find the intention of all of this work is to help you awaken to your soul's ultimate purpose and to really live and apply this wisdom in your life once and for all. And so I think that was one of the greatest pieces of feedback that I got from people who would go through these webinars and read these books, is that, it really helped them get it once and for all and apply it in their life in a way that was easy and simple.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you for bringing forth the council with all of that wisdom and for putting that together. And also, I want to mention that you also do personal sessions with people where they can ask the council specific questions. And so you've got two options here, one with a half-hour and an hour session. Can you describe, a half hour would be certainly a lot of information, but we could see a full hour obviously allows more questions. Talk a little bit about what people get out of your personal sessions.
Yes, so one thing I have noticed, I have done tons of personal sessions now with the council for people, and it seems to be, one of the things I was looking for is a predictable experience. So for anyone who has gone through a course or gone through other programs, being able to have a predictable response that says, by the end of this, I'm going to have this particular outcome is really what I think the council brought through here, because with almost any situation, and the private sessions cover all kinds of different things. I've had people come that have a woman whose son was killed, and she was really having a hard time processing that and getting over her grief. Another person that had multiple businesses and was looking at losing their businesses and was in a really difficult place in their life. A woman that had a fear because of some personal things that had happened to her as a child. And every single thing really you can imagine people have brought to the council, whether it's major life transitions or finding their purpose in life or overcoming a major thing that has happened to them, or a death, or being in a very uncertain time, or going through a disease like cancer, or whatever it is. And truly all things have been brought to the council probably within 45 to 48 minutes every time, no matter what someone brought to the council. They had a transcendent experience. They had a moment of just releasing all of the fears, releasing all of the doubts, releasing all of the limitations, and being at absolute oneness with themselves, with the truth of who they are, with their soul, to the point where after the hour is up, they don't have any more questions. They are at that vibration. They are at the energy where, they knew the answers. Everything was perfect just as it was. And so it's a really cool experience to be a part of that for people that have dealt with or are dealing with things in their life. That hour private session with the council, within 48 minutes usually every time they have the light switch goes on, or they have that aha experience in their life, or really I relate it to having a near-death experience without having to go through the trauma and drama. It's having that experience of your oneness or your truth without having to go through a near-death experience, which for some people can be a really life-changing thing. But the shorter sessions, the 30-minute sessions, are usually for someone who has a question about a particular topic that they're dealing with in their life experience, or, a particular question that they have. And so being able to come to the council, it usually ends up in a half an hour. It ends up being one or two questions that get answered, but helping them. So people come with questions about their businesses or questions about a relationship in those half an hour sessions where the council can really bring them to the place of finding their clarity on that or the truth on that particular question so that they know exactly what inspired actions to take going forward.
Yes, inspired actions to move forward, bringing forth new earth. Wow,
yes.
Thank you for that. Your special offer is available on the special offer button on this webpage. We thank you for that, and we appreciate your work. And wow, as we say goodbye today, this has just been really powerful. Again, we're standing in love, we're standing in unity, and we are reaching for the new earth frequency. Do you have any thing that you'd like to say as we say goodbye today?
Oh, well, I just want to thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you to everyone who participated here today. And really, truly, even if you were just listening, you were absolutely participating with your energy and with your questions and with your thoughts. All of that contributed. So thank you. And I do really carry forth this message that the Council has of hope and love and oneness. I think it's so very important in this time that we are hopeful and that we really remember that there is only love. And I do believe that the most important thing that we can be doing is our own personal work to be, releasing these things in our life that don't serve us, that we don't want to be carrying anymore, the things that have kept us from really being everything we are. The Council often says, you are everything you wish to be, you already are. And I think that is one thing that when we really get that, you are everything you wish to be, you already are. You already are. That's the truth of who we are. And when we can really get that, then our life begins to change and things fall into place for us. And I believe from that space, we can be of greater service to the divine, to all that is, and really, bringing the reality of New Earth into full manifestation. And I just love being here with all of you and the opportunity to be co-creating New Earth with each and every one of you. So I really, really appreciate it, and this has been a wonderful time together today. So thank you, my dear, so much.
Oh, thank you. Sara Landon, Channel of the Council, thank you for this inspiring message at such a beautiful time in the now. We are here creating New Earth, and we thank you. Thank you for being here on Quantum Conversations.
Thank
Namaste.
you. Namaste.
Okay, well, now is the time when we can. Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed this program, please share it with your friends and loved ones. And we thank you for shining your magnificent light and adding it to the world. This is when we love ourselves like no one else can. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.